So that was Don't Be So Hard on Your Own Beauty by Yule from their album Glitch Princess. What did you think?
I really loved that song, actually.
Yay.
I think I was comparing it to I Really Want to Stay at Your House by Rosa Walton, which was in the Cyberpunk video game and also the anime. But that song that I've just referenced, I think took on a bit more of like an EDM-y kind of electro dance vibe, I guess, yeah. And this one kind of, I like how it kind of altered the audio. I mean, I don't think those were natural fluctuations. I felt like they were kind of...
No.
I was describing them as like a little bit glitchy, which is ironic because the album's called Glitch Princess.
Yeah.
And I really loved that. There was a weird kind of ambience to it, but also a kind of like a feeling that there's something deeper there as well.
Yeah.
And being inherently bad at listening to lyrics like I am, I almost definitely missed it. But it's nice to kind of pick up on that. And I was saying to Joanna, I really want to go and listen to the full album now. So I think that will be my plan for this evening.
And you should. Yeah, the lyrics for this particular song pertain to I think, diary entry that the singer had written basically about, well, in relation to struggles with eating disorders. And it was also in relation to a particular friend who had basically shown them that there are so many things in life that are beautiful and that they shouldn't be so hard on their own beauty, as in they shouldn't be destroying their body for an ideal that is unhealthy. And it's not something I knew, but I really loved this very sort of melancholic summary vibe. It felt like there was a lot going on in the song, even when I didn't know what it was about. And it fits really interestingly in this album. Almost feels like an oasis in an album that's otherwise very theatrical.
Often talking to this like second entity, but it's never really given a name or anything. Just the idea that it's like you. I think quite.
They were talking to that friend who was trying to show them that there are so many beautiful things in life and that beauty isn't always perfect.
Yeah, it's a weird mixture of beauty and pain, kind of mixed into these lyrics. You let me cry and wipe my eyes and make me feel something other than desolated nothing. I am desperate in a nightmare where I'm trying to find you. These are strong words. I think there's a punch behind almost every line written in this, which is a lot more than can be said for many songs that are produced. So gets a huge thumbs up from me. I look forward to. Well, I mean, first of all, it's a new song and it's a new artist and it's a new album. So that's really cool because never even heard of them before. So looking forward to digging into this one a little bit more.
Nice.
And I think that brings us to the end of the episode.
Yes.
So yeah, that was our 2022, some of our most played or perhaps some of our biggest highlights musically from the year.
Yeah.
I don't think I've got any announcements. Have you?
No. Just 2022 was a good year for music, if it wasn't really good for much else.
Yeah. And I think, yeah, it's something if you're thinking, if you have that pessimistic mindset that 2023 is going to be worse than 2022, or that 2022 was a terrible year and so therefore 23 will be as well. I think not for music.
Yeah.
I think I'm super excited for music lately, and I think that there's so much cool stuff coming out, and even old stuff. There's so much to discover, and I wish for everyone to hopefully find that same spark and enjoyment from discovering new music that I think the two of us share.
Yeah.
So stay positive.
Every year is a good year for music.
That's very true. 2023 especially is going to be a great year for music, I think. Little kind of side note here, I do some writing, and I asked Joanna to answer some questions about music and stuff like that. And I think there's so many cool questions you can ask yourself, and maybe I'll provide a link when I publish this article to one of the podcast episodes or something like that. There's so many interesting questions you can ask yourself about music, and so much that music has to offer. And I hope that everybody I mean, if you're listening to this, you're already taking more steps than most people, I imagine, to try and like diversify your music taste. Or maybe you're listening just to support us exclusively and you don't like the music we shared. Either way, very much appreciated.
Thanks.
And yeah, I think it's going to be, if 2023's good for nothing except one thing, it's going to be good for musical discovery for me personally, I feel like. And the point I was originally getting at is I slowly feel, and I don't know how you feel about this actually, like my musical identity is becoming clearer to me.
Nice.
I think maybe this is something that you've put more thought into, but I think for me, it's like the whole fact that Double Vision exists and all of this is my journey in a way of trying to find my own musical identity and stuff like that. And I feel like it's really cool because I'm getting closer and closer to that. And because of it, I think I'm taking more enjoyment from music,
Yeah.
which is really cool because when I first started this journey, like when the idea for Double Vision was first kind of brought up, was because I was quite frankly becoming apathetic to music because I wasn't enjoying listening to it anymore. And it's super cool now looking like 4 or 5 years down the line that I'm like, I feel as though now I have more appreciation and I take more joy from listening to music than I ever have in my life. And I think that for me was a really cool realization coming into the new year.
Nice. Oh, I'm happy for you. It's always very cool when you realize you're finding the kind of music that you think you could be listening to for the rest of your life.
Definitely.
And also getting into a groove where you're like always discovering new music, because I think
Definitely
the biggest threat to musical enjoyment is stagnation. I like to think of my musical identity as being something that is strongly rooted in evolution. Like I always want to be thinking about new sounds, new things, discovering new artists, or yeah, I want to be finding new things. I realize when I am always listening to the same things, you get that sense of stagnation and it feels like you're stuck. Whereas when I'm discovering new things and it's something that I genuinely love and that influences me, both in general music listening and also in the kind of music I make, it feels amazing. Like that last album in particular, because it takes on it takes a quite theatrical approach to electronic music that I realized I really love. That sort of it's a very cinematic album.
Yeah.
In the sense that it feels like it could be a score for a TV show or a movie or something. It's very expansive, and that's what I like about the kind of music I make. Is I like to make my music as expansive as possible.
Yeah. No, I think it's a huge cliche, but I think it works really well in this sense that it's more about the journey than the destination. And I think that's true, that it's an ongoing journey that will never end. And I think if you take on the idea of musical identity as being something that is fixed, unchanging, then I think that's a very dangerous territory to fall in. Also because you start listening to the same things over and over, but also because you dismiss so many other things. You kind of isolate yourself to the point of just lacking exposure to anything, even things that you would enjoy. And I mean, I guess that in a sense is just an extension of the stagnation idea that you've brought forwards.
Absolutely.
But I've really started to, I think that was really nice for me, because I think when I was talking about musical identity, I very much pictured it as like 100% loading bar,
Yeah.
and I was like, I'm not 100%, but I think that's the wrong way to think about it. I think in a way only by the way you view music can you be at 100%, but like the thing itself is never fully formed because it's constantly changing and it's constantly growing and expanding. And I think that's why I just hope we can keep continuing with stuff like this for as long as possible, because it's like every time we do this, new stuff comes up, new sounds, new artists, new albums, new styles, and it just doing this and listening back to the podcast every time. And no, I don't love the sound of my own voice. Trust me about that. But I love what we're doing here, in that we just play so much cool music to each other, and I'm sure there's people who disagree and say like, I rarely like any of the music you play, and that's fine. That's cool. Like, what's awesome about that is that you've discovered music that you're not interested in, and that in itself is learning. It's like,
Yeah.
it's a win-win. There is genuinely no losing when it comes to exposing yourself to new music. You find stuff you like, you win. You learn about stuff that you don't like, you win. And it's just so cool. Like, there's no downside to it. And I don't know, I have so much love and gratitude for doing this kind of stuff. I really do enjoy it.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, I mean, I feel like we're not going to use half the content that we actually said today.
No.
So, thank you all for listening. Happy 2023 to everybody. And if you have any ideas for the next episode, please get in touch. As always, you can get hold of us through Instagram, which is what exactly?
At Double Vision Pod.
We also have a Discord. If you don't have access to Spotify Premium, we've got YouTube playlists. This whole thing is about hearing new music, and so hopefully we are not restricting anyone by hosting that on Spotify. That's just how the cookie crumbles, if you will. And yeah, get in touch if you've got any ideas for new episodes. I think episode 12 was inspired by my brother, actually. So we do listen to what you guys have got to say. And until the next one, bye.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for listening. If you'd like to learn more or follow us, you can find us at anchor.fm/Double Vision Show and on Instagram under the name @DoubleVisionPod. Also, we recently created a Discord server for the show where you can discuss recent episodes, suggest themes for future ones, and talk about new music discoveries. You can find the link to join in our Instagram bio.